cost of doing performance marketing these days is increasing more than ever. In 2026, we're going to be playing in auctions where the advertisers are a lot more mature. CPC inflation is a real thing. And automation is going to make it more easier than ever for advertisers to set up a campaign, and it's going to kind of make it even harder to do a good job of it as a result. So in order to drive profitable growth, it's efficiency is the way to do that. I don't think that the opportunities to just set up an ad account, set up some campaigns and just run them and buy traffic isn't going to be the thing that leads to a lot of growth unless you're a startup with an incredibly good product.
Yeah, I think you can set up a campaign now in Google Ads from like 6 clicks. But whether that campaign is actually going to be good or not is the difference.
Exactly. The automation is going to be throwing it haywire, right? You're going to be buying all sorts of traffic, and the good traffic that the good advertisers have found a way to buy is more expensive than ever because everyone's fighting over it.
Yeah, and all the different platforms as well just fight for attribution. Like they all greedy. They all claim that they are doing more than they actually are.
Yeah.
Like especially when you get into platforms like Meta, and you go into like view through, like are they actually useful or not?
Yeah, and then it's harder than ever to track a conversion as well, right? So with all of the privacy regulations, I think all the platforms have done pretty good jobs of trying to build products that recapture some of the conversion data, but it's way harder to track a conversion in 2026 than it was a few years ago. And when the campaigns are fully reliant on that data to power them because they're automated and it's an AI algorithm driving it, that makes it especially hard. So I think the general thesis of what we're trying to put into people at Propel in 2026 is all about efficiency. If you're not driving efficiency, there's like a base level of optimization that you need to stand still as well, right? It's like if you do nothing, your performance will decline because everyone else is improving. If you do a base level of optimization, that's what you need to do just to stand still. But to really grow, you really need to be driving efficiency in your campaigns, and you've got to go above and beyond all of your competition in order to be able to grow.
Yeah, I think especially like Google, they'll basically do what you tell them to do. So if you say, here's £500, get me a 500% ROAS, they'll go and do that. But in theory, you could have got a 600% ROAS, but Google will just spend your budget no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think that when it comes down to like, it's really easy to set something up. You have an idea in your head what performance should be. You tell Google to do that, it will just spend the money. But it won't sort of dig deeper and think. Google won't ever think, I can actually drive at 800% ROAS, but by spending less money, it won't do that. It will spend you the full budget because that's what you've told it to do.
That's it.
So it's about giving it the signals, the right signals, the human signals.
Digging deeper into the campaign so they can grow further, right?
That's it.
So
to grow further.
Dig deeper, grow further. So that's I guess that's like the core of the ideas that we're going to be exploring in the podcast, right? Is that we've got a set of, I guess we'll go through the system that we use at Propel in order to make sure that the campaigns that we run are as efficient as possible. And I guess the first place to start with that is, what do we actually mean by efficiency?
Yeah, I think it can be very superficial, as I say. Like you could just look at what's tracked in the platform, what revenue is tracked in the platform, but how does that actually correspond to revenue in the balance sheet of the client? So like, for example, Google or Facebook can be showing £1 million in sales, but it's only like 400k on the balance sheet. That's not ideal.
Yeah.
So it's all about making sure you're getting the right data into the platform. So what you see in the platforms is actually reflected in real life. So that could be profit. It could be, make sure you include in like returns, cancellations, that sort of stuff, to make sure that what you actually are showing in the platforms reflects what is on your balance sheet.
Yeah. And I think a big focus for a lot of our clients this year is going to be around new customer acquisition as well. So being able to track that effectively. But then I guess with new customer acquisition, not all customers are equal. It's really important that there's some lifetime value tracking within that as well. And that sort of goes for any lead generation campaigns as well. Making sure that you don't just capture that first engagement, but you're tracking all of the subsequent engagements, and that you understand what the true ROI of your campaigns is.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the main question in marketing, like how much is marketing actually incremental? And we chat about it with like brand bidding on Google, for example, how incremental actually is that? But the same can be done for generics. Like if you've got a returning customer that just found you because they know that Googling, let's say like shoes, they Googling Nike shoes will find you on Google. They're going to buy through organic anyway, and it's just a waste of money. And that's how like the new returning customer conversation comes about. Like new customers, we know that is completely incremental revenue, whereas returning less so. And therefore the data that you put into the platform, so the two different sales need to reflect that.
Yeah. But if the new customer has been driven by a brand PPC campaign or a social retargeting campaign, then it probably wasn't incremental. So it's about kind of understanding the context of the campaigns as well. But I guess the true definition of efficiency varies client by client, kind of all stems back to the wider business strategy as well. That's where it all starts, right? Is like, what does the business want to achieve? It's January. Everyone's trying to figure out what their strategy is for 2026. So if the paid media and the performance marketing plan isn't stemming up to that business strategy and you can't define efficiency in the context of that, you need to take a bit of a step back and really understand what efficiency means to you.
You need like a North Star KPI, whether that's profit, revenue, new customers. You need that North Star KPI, and everything filters down. The whole strategy then filters down, and all of your staff, all of your agencies should be working towards that North Star.
That's it. So I guess the way that we approach that at Propel is through a bit of a system, which is basically 4 pillars that define everything that we do. So we'll go through each of them one by one. First one is partner understanding. So understanding the business that you're working with and you're building campaigns for.
Yeah, and that goes back to the North Star. Like how do they actually make their money? What do they care about? Like what do they actually want to drive? Rather than just vanity metrics that like marketing agencies shout about. Like, as I say, is it revenue? Is it profit? Is it new customers? Like what actually do they want to drive, and how do they actually drive revenue?
Yes. What's the KPI?
Yeah.
What data underpins that? How do you get access to that data, and then how do you utilize it within the campaigns?
Yeah, exactly.
But then I guess as well, like understanding your clients as well. Who are we actually marketing to?
We do a lot of things like listening into sales calls to understand like the sales team and know how they operate and how they actually make a sale. Things like that are just gold dust, because that will help drive the strategy of the marketing team, because it needs to work as like a well-oiled machine from top to bottom. And that's why we say like becoming part of the team when we work with the client is very important, because that's exactly what we are. We're a clog that fits in like a wider machine. Yeah. For example, if you've got like if it's like a B2B business and we drive loads of leads, but the sales team doesn't work, then it's the sales team's fault. Yeah. And you fix that, keep doing what you're doing, you'll make loads of money. Like there's a wider picture in the whole, like what drives actual profit, and marketing is just like a small clog in that big wheel.
That's it. Marketing, and it goes for any marketing team, tactic, channel. It can't work in isolation from the rest of the business, right? So I guess the job of marketing though, and the job of a performance marketing team is to be masters of what they do. So we kind of try and practice the art of platform mastery. Platform mastery.
You've gone really posh in 2026. Yeah. Platform mastery. Using platforms properly, dear.
So you start off with really having a good understanding of your client, and then you need to translate that into having absolute expertise in how to use the ad platforms as well, right?
Yeah, I think it's a given to be experts in every single platform now for marketing agencies. Like it used to be a selling point for agencies, like we're masters, whereas now that's just a non-negotiable. Yeah. So yeah, that's obviously what we strive to do.
And to the point around like you can set up a Google Ads campaign in 6 clicks.
Yeah.
Is that a good idea or not?
No.
Probably not.
So
kind of understanding where to use the automation to your advantage, how to connect it back to the client strategy or the brand strategy, and making sure that all of the data that you identify as being relevant to the North Star is then integrated with the campaigns. And then I guess the next pillar for us, it is it doesn't matter if you're an agency or an in-house team here. It's about how do you service the business. So if you're an agency, how do you service your client? If you're an in-house marketing team, how do you service the wider business, the CEO, the CMO? And I guess it's super important as well. I guess there's some fundamentals around providing good service to the wider business, right?
Yeah, I think communication's massive. Like you need to be reachable by instant messenger, whether that's like Slack, WhatsApp, Teams. That's, I think, a non-negotiable now. Especially like even like businesses work remotely. Businesses survive via instant messenger. So why shouldn't the CMO be able to message the account team about a question they have that can just easily be answered? Because I think if you don't have that as well, if you don't have like the CMO messaging the account team, for example, then you have things going through multiple people, Chinese whispers, things get like misconstrued, like people change the narrative to suit their own way. Like there's basically needs to be complete communication and transparency in everything. So like all results need to be completely transparent. Everything that the agency have done needs to be completely transparent. Everything they're working on needs to be transparent. Everything that they want to do in the future needs to be transparent, and then basically everything falls into place off the back of that.
You think, to go back to the instant messenger point as well, like I think that's the thing that that's the equivalent of when you were in the office 5 days a week, seeing someone at the coffee machine and you'd have a quick chat.
Yeah.
The only way to replicate that is through instant messenger now.
Yeah.
But I kind of think with everyone being remote, having, I guess some of the big barriers that used to occur between an agency and a client were that you'd have the brand in one office and the agency in another office, and all the communication was quite rigid. It was via email, it was through a weekly call. Whereas there's like a real opportunity for agencies to genuinely be an extension of the team, because nobody's in the office all the time. Everyone's remote. So by using the instant messenger, by being always contactable, always chatting to the client, that's the true way of really sort of immersing yourself in that team and acting as that extension.
Yeah, I think it helps understand the business better as well. Like it helps the agency team, if they're speaking to the client day to day, they can understand how the business works. They can understand what's important for the business, what actually drives profit for the business. Yeah.
So if a business has just had a trading meeting and numbers are down, like the agency should be on that. The performance marketing team, doesn't matter if you're an agency or an in-house team, whoever's working on those campaigns should be on it. They should be able to communicate the results, react upon it.
Whereas back when we were working for bigger agencies, when we were younger and better looking, we were always told, don't go on instant messenger. Make sure you only communicate via email, and then you kind of get an email, you bookmark it, you go, right, I'll reply to that within 24 hours. You know, it's just not useful.
So the dinosaurs do it. So
slow, yeah. Like looking back on that now, that's like basically saying, right, let's send like a letter in the post. Like that emails are basically like, let's send a letter in the post.
Yeah.
That compares to like where we are now, where you can literally just message someone instantly.
Yeah, get it done.
Exactly. It's like back then, it'd be like, right, yeah, let's send a letter in the post to a client. Like, no, you just email. Whereas we've evolved now to instant messenger, and everyone should be on instant messenger.
That's it. So like you combine good understanding of the client, good understanding of the brand and the challenge and the strategy with platform mastery, unparalleled service levels. Like, what's the result of that?
Performance growth.
That's it.
Good results. I think if you do all of those things, then good results will happen. It's not 100% guaranteed. Like, there are external factors that can impact results, but you've given yourself the best opportunity to drive good performance. I think that's all you can do. Like, there could be like other factors, you know, like we've seen in the last like 6 years, like COVID, for example. There's things outside your control.
The Donald,
yeah. You've got like the wars that are happening. You've got all sorts. But what you want to do is give yourself the best opportunity for performance growth. And at the end of the day, you need to say to yourself, have we done everything we possibly can to drive good performance? If the answer is yes, then, I mean, 9 times out of 10, you will drive good performance.
That's it. And to kind of bring it back to the whole topic of the what we're here today is about efficiency, right?
Yeah.
So those are kind of like, that's the base foundations that you need: good understanding of the client, expertise in the ad platforms, and to be able to communicate and work with the wider team. That is the foundations for driving efficient growth.
Yeah.
So I guess moving beyond that now to talk a bit more about the specifics of a performance marketing strategy, an efficient performance marketing strategy. It kind of all starts at the top with, you know, what are the budgets and the targets, and then how does that layer down into, or how do you set an effective budget? Right? How do you? We're sat in 2026, and you're trying to do a budget for the year. Where do you start?
I think you need to narrow down to like, who is your customer? Like, who are your customers? And then you can then say, right, how many of those customers exist in this country? What is the market size? And that filters up for, okay, what's the search volume? Like how often do these people purchase? And then basically you work that up to, right, okay, we got this many searches, you want to capture this much of the market, this should be the budget.
So you kind of look at the total addressable market and then the search one within. I mean, one thing that's never changed within PPC is the usefulness of how much people search for things.
Yeah.
Maybe that changes in 2026 as people start to use search engines differently, and maybe people start to use Google a little bit less and are a little bit more focused on generative AI. But up until now, it's been super useful to be able to go into something like Google Trends, Google Keyword Planner, and look at what the general trends are in how much people are searching.
Yeah.
That really helps steer the budget.
Yeah, I do think as well you need to be flexible. Like you can use that to set a budget, but then if you launch and things look either bigger or smaller than they were originally, you need to adapt quickly.
Yeah.
Like they need to be used as a guide rather than like gospel, basically.
That's it. And then in the context of efficiency as well, like looking back at the marginal efficiency of your campaigns. So something that I'd recommend for anyone to do in January now, look back at 2025, plot your weekly spend and your weekly conversions, and draw out a marginal efficiency curve and just try to determine, could we have spent more and generated more efficiently, or should we have spent less to drive the efficiency?
Yeah, I think if you're spending consistently as well and you're not pushing those boundaries up or down, then that's a mistake. Like you should always be thinking, right, if I spend a bit more, do I get more? If I spend a bit less, do I get the same? Like you should always be pushing those boundaries. Like that's a test that should be ongoing at all times.
Yeah.
If you're spending the same and getting the same and you're happy with it, fine. But you're never going to move forward and basically improve if you don't like test the boundaries.
And also as well, if you're spending more but you're not getting more, that's like a clear and obvious sign that you need to be doing that more efficiently. That's a really inefficient way of running marketing. Spend more, don't get more conversions.
Yeah. Well, everything should be based on incrementality. So like you spent X more, what have you got more? Because people can look at it like, let's say some arbitrary numbers like 500 grand for 5% ROAS or 600 grand for 4% ROAS. But what is actually your 100 grand and what is your incremental ROAS? Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to do those maths off the top of my head. I probably should have picked I should have picked an easier example. But let's say that if your incremental ROAS is like 100%, but your margin's like 50%, so you're actually losing money on that extra spend. It's not worth it. You should have in the top of not in the top of your mind, every single CMO should have what incremental ROAS am I happy with? What incremental CPA am I happy with?
Yeah.
And then that should just drive all of your budget decisions.
That is efficient growth, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's say like, if you then can go to your agency and be like, right, if I spend this much, what can I get? If it's below that number, then the decision's no. But you should have in the top of your mind, like, what is that number?
Yeah. So basically, when setting the budgets and the targets, looking at the total audience, how much do we expect that audience to go up and down, and what's the marginal efficiency of our spend? From
I think with the forecasting, with the demand as well, you need to take into fact loads of other factors like seasonality and things like that. Like especially when you're doing the margin efficiency plot that you mentioned, like it's not as black and white as let's just plot on a chart all of our month spend and returns. Yeah,
well, Black Friday is going to look a little different, isn't it?
Exactly. So maybe you want to take away the months that have the abnormality. Yeah. So if you've got low time at Christmas, try and take that away.
So you've got a solid budget, some realistic targets. I guess the next layer down in the funnel is all about how do you buy the traffic. And this is a huge area where whoever's managing the performance marketing campaigns, whoever's hands-on in the accounts, this is kind of where you earn your money. And again, so much has changed in our industry over the last 15, 20 years, but fundamentally, the job of an account manager is to buy the traffic as efficiently as possible. So I guess what are the key things that you look at when you're trying to improve the quality of the traffic that you buy?
I think the number one thing is search terms. Like everyone should be looking at search terms. I think that with the current landscape of automation, that's something that slips through the net so much. Like how relevant actually are the searches that are coming through your keywords, especially with Google's new broad match keywords. Like you could get
AI Max.
AI Max. You can get
awful.
As in, so I have a client. We launched a new PMax campaign, and the highest spending search term was the letter D. it was saying it was really good keyword.
Really nailed the efficiency there, Jack.
Well, no, but that's it. So what you do is you launch, you see the highest spending keyword is letter D, you apply as a negative.
Yeah.
We weren't running that for a long time. But the thing is, the answer to that though is you don't know the search terms till you launch.
Yeah.
So this stuff needs to be done post-launch. It can't be done. You obviously can have like a load of negatives that you build, and we built up negative lists from like the last 10 years of activity.
So key takeaway from this is to have every letter of the alphabet as a negative and exact match across every campaign.
Exactly. But like that for example is you can't, like, how is that a relevant search term to any keyword that Google, and that's the way maybe Google are just trying to monetize these like automated products they have, like PMax, AI Max. They're just going to hide it. And to be fair, they were hiding it in the PMax reports. When they first launched. It's only now because everyone kicked up a massive fuss that they're actually showing the search terms in the reports.
And if you translate that into paid social as well, so where you've got things like Advantage Plus, which is the default campaign type to use now, it's really difficult to segment by new and existing. And I think that Meta aren't very good at being able to identify retargeting audiences as well, because of all the privacy landscape, iOS updates and things. So it's really important that you have a handle on what proportion of your traffic in your Meta campaigns is genuinely new audiences, new people, new customers, as opposed to just lasering in on the retargeting audience that's most likely to convert.
Yeah. I think as well, so like IP filtering and like bot traffic, like there's a lot of that out there, and a lot of that can be wasted budget. So using like external tools for the IP filtering, just basically questioning traffic, like questioning results, questioning traffic is massive.
Yeah.
Like often if something looks too good to be true, then it is too good to be true. Like if you're getting like 5p a click and loads of clicks, probably way too good to be true.
Something's wrong there.
Like it's going to be search partners, it's going to be scrapers, it's going to be bots, it's going to be, that's traffic you shouldn't buy.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a massive factor. And then the last thing would be like the account structure. Like you have your campaign segmented, and as in we would suggest probably having campaigns segmented by search theme. I guess there's one option.
Yep.
But making sure that campaign structure works is massive. So you need to know, like, let's say, going back to the shoes example, a campaign is like branded shoes. You're only getting branded search terms through that campaign. If it's non-brand, you only get a non-brand through that campaign. So that segmentation is key when looking at results from a top level.
Yeah.
It gives the account managers confidence that what they're looking at a surface level, at campaign level, is correct, and they can make optimization choices off the back of that.
Yeah. So I guess like fundamentally when you're trying to drive efficiency through your entire performance marketing program, the reason that you hire people in-house to do this, the reason you hire an agency is for them to buy the traffic more efficiently for you. Every single account in the world has an opportunity to buy traffic more efficiently.
Yeah.
No one's got it at 100%. So,
and they never will have, like you negative one thing, Google will bring up another thing. You negative D, Google will spring E. Like it's going to be ongoing.
Yeah.
For forever. And I mean, Google claim, was it like 30% of searches are new? That just gives them even more ammo to fill your campaigns with rubbish searches.
Yeah, especially with like with Gemini and ChatGPT as well.
Yeah.
Christ knows what people are searching for in there.
You could be showing for all sorts.
Yeah.
And the way that they've said you do show is by having broad match keywords, but that just gives them the license to show ads for anything they want.
That's it.
But it's basically, it comes back to, are my customer, is this traffic actually my customer?
Yeah.
That's the question.
And then I guess another really important lens to look at for buying traffic efficiently is having the right message in front of the right people, right? So from a search perspective, that would be having an ad that matches the search term and a relevant landing page. From a social perspective, it would be about having good quality ad creative that resonates and then has a landing page. But I guess quality score, right?
Yeah. I think like fueling quality score is click-through rate. I think one of the most underrated metrics in marketing is click-through rate.
In search?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, in social is important as well.
Yeah, in search massively, but people forget about it because they're just mainly focused on profit. But going back to like the fraudulent traffic, bad search terms, if you've got a poor click-through rate, often that's an indicator that your traffic's poor.
Yep.
if you've got a good click-through rate, it's not always the case, but it is often a strong indicator that you are buying the right traffic.
Yeah.
And if it's not converting, the problem is further down the funnel, it's on the landing page.
It's like the fundamentals of PPC is about buying relevant traffic. And if you're serving ads in an environment where people aren't clicking on them, chances are it's not relevant.
It's less black and white than it used to be. It used to be that if you just had the most relevant ads and the best click-through rate, you'd have the best quality score. It's slightly less black and white. It's more grey these days, but like 9 times out of 10, if you have the best relevance and you have the best click-through rate, you will have the lowest CPCs and you'll be able to buy more traffic.
Yeah. I've seen quite a few examples as well. Like I think quality score is an under-reported on metric.
Yeah.
I think quite often what I hear from account managers and clients is that they don't feel that they can move the needle on it. Oh yeah, we try and look at quality score and there's nothing we can do. But I saw quite a few accounts in 2025 that we audited where there'd been a clear change, a step change in the quality score. So they'd been at, say, like an average across the account of 7 up until a point in time where it just dropped off a cliff because they'd made changes to the landing page or because there'd been wider changes in the auction and things like that. So I think if you're not monitoring the quality score, if quality score drops, your efficiency will drop.
Yeah. We had a client that changed their website and it completely reset quality score. And that's something that people don't always think about.
Good or bad?
Bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
Don't change your website.
Don't change your website. But that's something that people don't always take into account when they change things like the website. How does it affect your quality score? And quality score is something that's built up over time. If you mature accounts are way better than a brand new account because it's built up quality score and history.
And then it's been the fundamental of paid social forever and most marketing outside of paid search, but having good quality creative. I mean, we've got an example of a client where they really invested in the creative literally in November last year. Saw like a 10x increase in qualified leads just off the back of putting some decent quality ad creative in the account.
Yeah.
So I think it's like the same theme runs across whatever channel you're running, right? Like don't overlook the importance of your ads and your creative and the impact that has on click-through rates and how it resonates with your audience.
On social, people obviously often ignore it in terms of budget, don't they? They don't put a lot of budget behind the creators when they should be putting, as in there's a recommendation, isn't there, on how much budget they should put behind a creative compared to like campaign spend.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's two schools of thought on it, isn't there? There's the people that really buy into the creative and are really brand led and about producing lots and lots of ads. And then there's your other school of thought where it's all about the performance, it's all about the campaign, how you set it up. And you need to be looking at both.
Yeah.
I guess if you take a step back, the things we've spoken about, so you've got budgets and targets that are suitable for the campaigns and what the business wants to achieve. You're looking at every angle for how you can improve the quality of the traffic that you're buying. I guess the next layer down is the architecture of your conversions as well, right?
Yeah, I think this is actually the most important layer. I think I've said that for all of the other pillars, but I actually do generally think this is the most important layer. With the world of automation we have, like Google, Meta, these platforms just do what you tell them. So it's very important that you tell them to do the right thing and you're giving them the right information and that they can actually go and do what you tell them. So that comes from getting accurate tracking, reliable tracking, good data that you can then input into these ad platforms to them so then they can produce the best results. And as you say, they can produce the best results, but then those results will reflect on the actual balance sheet of the business. I think this is the most important thing, and linking those two things in platform results and real world results. Yeah. The key to that is tracking.
I find it quite wild still that we audit accounts, lead gen accounts that just optimize towards leads, like all leads are treated equal. Like it feels like the default should be qualified leads.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that the way that Google encourage you to set up your accounts is just that you track all conversions, treat them equally. And the platforms aren't really directing people towards the idea of qualified leads.
No. Well, it comes back from like the 6-click Google campaign setup. You can just click leads. That's one of the setup options.
Yeah.
People do that and think it's good enough.
But I guess having the expertise within your team as well, right? So I think the thing that maybe the biggest change in the landscape over the last couple of years is the importance of having a set of experts in the team that fully understand all of the tracking products within the ad platforms.
Yeah.
Because I think 3 or 4 years ago, you would set up a conversion via Google Tag Manager. It would track everything. Brilliant. Great. Not a problem. I think when we last counted, there's maybe like 15 different products within Google Ads for tracking conversions. You've got enhanced conversions for leads. You've got consent mode. You've got offline conversion tracking. There's loads of things that you can do to track conversions. And it's actually impossible to stay on top of that. You need a team of experts that fully understand it, because if you don't fully understand how to set up the tracking, there's no way that you can translate that business strategy into something that's going to be operational within the campaigns.
Yeah, like this day and age, the tracking drives the strategy. Like, what can you track?
Yeah.
What's the best thing to track? That then drives the campaign strategy. Whereas it used to be the other way around. It used to be like, right, this is our strategy. We're going to then set up this X, Y, Z tracking. It should be like, no, this is the best thing we can possibly track. This is the best thing now. And that comes from the earlier conversations we have, understanding the client, understanding what actually drives like their business, like what is their North Star KPI. Yeah. Okay, right, how can we track that to the best of the ability, feed that into the algorithms, and then that drives the strategy.
What do you think about when you've got a campaign or an account where it is possible to track the end goal? Let's say the end goal is customer acquisition. There's like a really long journey that it takes to get there, and not many of those occur. It's really high value and it takes a long time.
Yeah.
That is the North Star of the business, but I guess that's not the best thing to optimize to.
No, but then you need to work with the client, and the client needs to invest time and money into understanding the softer signals that lead to the end purchase. I mean, we've helped clients do that ourselves, but clients should be investing in that themselves. Like, these soft actions that lead to sales are important, and this is how important they are. These are the values that they get.
Yeah.
And for that case, those softer signals with correct values are what you should be inputting into the algorithms to work towards.
That's it. There's like a difference between what you train an algorithm with,
yeah,
and what's relevant and useful for an algorithm versus what the North Star of the business is.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes we call it monopoly money, don't we? Because it is fake money. You're basically pumping fake money into Google Meta to make real money.
Yeah, you need to be developing your own set of data to train the algorithm. It doesn't matter what that data is. It just needs to somewhat reflect the end goal that you're trying to achieve. Yeah. So at a basic level, if you've got leads, qualified leads, a poor lead is worth 50, an okay lead is worth 100, a good lead is worth 800.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you times all those by 10 either, it's the same. Yeah. We've had that debate. When I had that debate with someone the other day.
Do you win?
Yeah, well, I don't know, but there's no difference. But that could be 500, 800. It could be 5,000, 8,000. It's just relative to each other.
Yep.
Like, how valuable are these actions relative to each other? That matters.
You just need to feed the right data, the right signals to the algorithm so it can do something with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But don't lose sight of the North Star.
No.
Still track that.
You should still
use that for ROI.
That.
Still report on it, because that's the thing that you're trying to move. So then I guess we then sort of talk about how else can account managers earn their money and drive in efficiency. I guess the notion of optimization and experimentation, and how we can use that to try and drive performance. One of the things that what's your thoughts on experimentation and the idea that actually clients always and brands and businesses love the idea of experimentation, but by definition, if you're running an experiment, part of that will underperform.
Yeah.
How do you generally run an experimentation program when clients are really keen?
I think it needs to be very controlled. Like, from the very start of an experiment, the hypothesis and how will this be a success or a failure needs to be outlined before it even starts.
Yep.
Once that is set out, then fail fast, test, learn. I think in our industry, people are so keen to try and get 100% significant results, which you're just never going to get to. You can run a test for 2 weeks, things aren't looking good.
You use a bit of common sense.
Exactly. Let's pull the plug. It's not working. Let's change it.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. I also think you could do too many tests. Like too many tests can muddy the waters. It can hide like actual things that are wrong in the campaigns. It can hide trends that you're missing, like things that change in search behavior, things that change in like the like economic behavior of people. So I think when you do a test, it needs to be very controlled. Don't do too many. Make sure you're not like the whole idea of like, let's test a million things.
Yeah.
You're not going to find the one thing that made a difference.
Do you think about like a percentage of budget that should be split out? Like, I kind of think you shouldn't really have more than 10% of your budget running experiments.
No, I think, but that comes back to like, you should be running experiments that you think will work or you think will improve.
Yeah.
And then that comes down to like the fail fast. Like if it is a good idea, then put more budget behind it. I think if it's a bit of a wacky one, like this could be nuts, then you want to go more conservative.
Yeah.
But I think the amount of budget you put behind it should be and how confident that something will work. And that comes down to common sense.
Common sense and experience.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. You know, okay, this has legs to work, or it doesn't.
Yeah, you should have a really clear view on it, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's backed by data, backed by experience, but also common sense.
Yeah.
Focus on tests that are going to have higher impact, higher chance of success.
I mean, sometimes we work with clients and CMOs who are like mavericks and have crazy ideas, which is fine because a lot of the time, like 1 in 10 will be a good idea. It's kind of managing those expectations and managing those budgets. Like, hey, right, that's interesting. We'll test it, but we're going to test that on a very small market, so it doesn't impact overall results.
So the idea of experimentation is that it should be focused on fewer, better tests. But then if we think about optimization, the idea of kind of being in an ad account every day, finding small tweaks to make, I guess there's definitely still a place for that, isn't there? Yeah,
because I mean, our world is dynamic. Like nothing's stable. Like as we mentioned, there's so many things that can change performance. There's like massive macroeconomic factors that can change performance. There's like business, stock problems,
algorithms.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's not static.
Yeah.
Like optimizing day to day, week to week, month to month is a full-time job, and needs to be treated like that. You need to invest enough time on making sure you're staying up to date with performance. Yeah. Otherwise, you'll just lose control. Kind of like,
I guess you could define it as like unstructured and structured, right? Experimentation is quite structured. You really think about it. You plan it. Whereas unstructured optimization, the idea that you should really be in your ad account every single day, just floating around, having a look, sort of seeing how things are performing, finding stuff on the fly.
Like click into keywords, like click into search terms, like click into all sorts, countries.
Go and see what you can find.
Yeah, just have a mooch around. But we say like, as in we, as an agency, bake that into people's time.
Yeah. We learned that working in-house, right? Yeah. That was where we learned the value of that. Is where we had so much time to be focused on one account, and you would spend all of your time just flicking through those accounts.
Yeah. There's so much value in just looking at that, like looking at different date ranges, looking at different views, just spending time in the accounts and looking.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're at an agency where every account manager has 1 million clients and no time to do that, then you'll lose that.
Yeah. Has to be baked into your time allocation, doesn't it? It's the ability to just go into the account, have a mooch about. Okay, and then I guess as well, once you've defined a set of tactics or optimizations that kind of always work, you then kind of want to look at how you scale that up as well and how you start to automate things.
Yeah, I think there's two parts. As in, we've been doing automation for the last 10 years, and that's really good at things like improving tasks that take too long, like checking for errors, checking for account alerts. But there's also the new world of AI and how that's going to impact automation. I think that's going to be massive on like how is AI going to be used in terms of account management. I think it's going to be really valuable. As we said, like having a mooch around. If you can train an AI agent to do
to mooch around,
for you, if you can train an AI agent to mooch for you, then
or the AI agent is there to spot the issues and be the layer of optimization, the layer of structured optimization.
Yeah, or even
so you've got more time to mooch.
Exactly. It's about freeing up time.
Yeah.
I think automation, for me, it fits into two different buckets. One, saving time, and two, doing something that human can't do.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you have a feed of 100,000 products, you need to check something for every single product. A human can't do that. You need to use automation for it.
Yeah.
I think automation falls into both those buckets. Is it a time saver? Is it something that a human can't do?
But the time saving element of it should only be explored once you've confirmed that thing drives performance.
Exactly.
It's pointless going straight to automating a process because you think it's going to work. Like, run that process first manually.
Exactly.
I guess the AI is going to continue to be a huge topic this year.
Yeah.
We've got some pretty big plans for how we're going to use AI, right?
Yeah, as I say, so we are developing an agent to do all these things. So both buckets I mentioned, so for saving time, but also doing things that humans can't do. So yeah, we've got some big plans on developing, as in we already developed an agent, but developing it further and the capabilities further. And I think with AI as well, it's very, I think I read something where we should be analysing the AI output rather than the algorithms that actually drive the AI. Which is what we do. So we basically ask the AI agent, which in our case is called Max. We ask Max to do something. We analyze the output that Max produces. Is the quality of what Max produces good enough? Is it correct? Yes, great. If not, right, okay, we need to go back to the training. Yeah. We need to go back to developing and changing that side of it.
And where I think AI is going to be most useful is in that traffic quality layer.
100%.
AI isn't necessarily going to be useful and help. I mean, maybe it will in determining a budget, but I think for a PPC agency like us that's looking to leverage AI and kind of provide useful tools to our account managers, is all in that traffic buy. How can we use AI to buy traffic more efficiently?
Yeah, exactly. It'd be a case of asking Max, like, how's the search terms? Or no, you don't even
what's the quality?
You probably don't even ask. So Max will check the search terms for every account.
Yeah, and tell you there's been a drop in quality. You need to go in and have a look.
Yeah, exactly.
There's been a drop in quality score. Here's some recommendations on things to kind of go and look at.
Yeah. So we've already developed Max, but yeah, as I say, 2026 is massive in taking it to the next level. Yeah. And it's quite exciting on that stuff.
Yeah. How can we use Max to be more efficient?
Yeah.
Dig deeper into the campaigns, grow further.
And then mooch.
Yeah. So I guess everything that we've been speaking about in terms of efficiency, there's lots of things that you can do, but it's all about the system that you put in place, right? It's all about thinking of it from top to bottom, right from the very top North Star of the business strategy, right the way through to how that translates into the minutiae of optimizing search terms and creative and things like that.
Yeah, I think about every single thing we spoke about is important, so that needs to be reviewed by all marketing teams. And as you said, like, if you do these things correctly, 9 times out of 10 you will get good results. But it's all about basically giving yourself the best opportunity to drive growth and to drive good results. Because I mean, without them, you're not going to do that in the landscape, because there will be competitors that are doing it.
That's it. If you want to grow in 2026, you've got to have the most efficient systems in place to be able to push on from that, because it's harder than it's ever been.
Yeah, and you need to those systems need to be adapted to the 2026 world. So the changes in search behavior, the changes in algorithms, the changes in everything, you need to make sure you're adapting your teams, you're adapting your agencies to basically like cope with that, because there is going to be there's going to be massive change.
Do you think this could be one of the biggest years of change?
I think so.
We've had.
Yeah, possibly. I think last year was probably huge, like the biggest change we've had in our industry in terms of like search behavior.
Yeah.
And the way people are marketed to. If it carries on this year, then yeah, it will be.
But the fundamentals have never changed, right? Get a relevant message to a relevant person at the right time.
Exactly. That's the number one thing you want to do.
Yeah, that's the foundations of efficiency, isn't it?
Yeah.